wanted to bring everybody an amazing guest for our first ever recorded episode. I have Talbot Watkins with us today. Talbot is the owner of Winstar Home Services, and I've had the pleasure of meeting him a couple times through several different events. I've had the pleasure of hearing him speak on stage about many things other than the home service industry. But Talbot is just an amazing human. He's doing a lot of great things. And on top of that, he's built an amazing service company. So Talbot, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Stephen.
Cool. Hey, so do me a favor, just tell us a little bit about your business, just so we kind of have an idea of what you're up to there at Winstar.
Okay, so I started out Winstar Home Services in 1995 with $400 in a pickup truck. Basically did construction along the way the whole time. I built the business fairly quickly. In a matter of a couple of years, I had, 20, 30 employees. And then just kept moving and moving, got up to over like 120 employees. 2008 to 12 hit us a little bit, not like it did everybody else, but we definitely had some bumps along the road. And then about 2 years ago, I branded Winstar Home Services, and this year I also branded Bath Planet. So it's all one business. A lot of people are like, what's this other business? Just like Coke and Sprite, and I think Dr. Pepper's a Coke product, I'm not sure. It's all one company. Patriot Electric, Winstar, Bath Planet are all the same company. And what we've been able to do in the last year and a half is pretty amazing. We put on like 18 trucks in the service industry. We've built a ton of reviews online already. We probably have a couple hundred reviews in that short amount of time. We have a A rating on Angie's List of 4.7 out of 5 stars on Home Advisor, with over 100 and some reviews on there, 4.5 in Yelp. The list goes on and on. A+, Better Business Bureau, and just built a great reputation. And we did that by a real simple thing, just doing what we say we're going to do.
That's awesome, man. It's something that I think we hear a lot in this industry, but it's hard to follow through on doing what we say we're going to do. I got a question for you. So you've grown massively. You've been through some really big ups, some really big downs. Obviously you have a ton of persistence and resilience to be able to regrow after that 2008 crash. I know exactly what that was like, but something I see you doing that stands out to me, and it has to do with your people, and it has to do with, I guess, even along the lines of what you said, is doing what you say you're going to do. And you always talk about how much you care about your people and how big of a part of that business here is. I mean, talk to me just a little bit about some of the stuff that you do for your people and what that feedback is that you get from them that truly makes it worthwhile. Because a lot of business owners want to do those things, but it's one of the first things to like fall off the to-do list when we run out of time.
So, you gave me cold chills. You can't see the goosebumps there, but honest and truly, that question is so appropriate because you're only as good as your weakest link, and you got to develop a great culture. But here's the thing, Winstar Home Services, we don't have a mission statement. We have a purpose, a core purpose, and that purpose is to make a contribution to the well-being of others. And we do that through either their comfort, their safety, their efficiency when we serve their electrical, plumbing, heating, air conditioning. But on a personal note, that's also my personal core purpose, is to make a contribution to the well-being of others. It's not electrical work or HVAC or plumbing. And we live our core values, and we live our culture and our core purpose. And so every single day, literally every single day, I try to pour into my people. And I try to coach them from the front, let them know, who's in charge, let them know what the expectations and the standards are. I say who gets up to the plate and swings the bat and who doesn't. And then coach them from the side. And sometimes, a lot of times, people just need a shoulder to lean on, or need somebody they can just go to for a little bit of help. and then finally coaching from the rear. And that doesn't mean kicking them in the ass. It means jump in, get in the hole, get dirty with them, and help push them uphill whenever they need it. So it's really pouring into your people. And I'll say this too, everybody's heard work on your business, not in your business. For me, as the leader of this company, I look at my job, I only have 3 things to do. And that's grow the business, manage risk, and create leaders. That's it. And the rest of it, I let other people work on operations and all those types of things. So personally, I want to grow the business, manage risk, and create dynamic leaders.
Awesome, man. So let me ask you this question. Going back to when you started, did you pour just as much time into your team back then, or is this something that you kind of learned later in business?
So you don't know what you don't know, right? And obviously, no, I didn't. I was just running and gunning 100 mile an hour, getting jobs, doing work. And I paid a price for it a bunch of times in a bunch of different ways. I've had some employees, and they just poured their lifeblood into my business, but I didn't know how to mentor them. And so no, this has been, in the last few years, thing that I've been doing more and more and more. And I found my passion, and my passion is my core purpose, to contribute to the well-being of others. So it kind of all just flows together.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I think that a lot of business owners, we start out and we want to pour ourselves into our people, and we hear, like with what you're saying right now, we hear we're supposed to do it, but it's hard in the beginning. And what I've learned is that, if we start that from the beginning and spend time on it and focus on it, it'll make a huge difference. And kind of like how you did when you were regrowing, it sounded like you did that. You poured into your people, and now you've grown way faster. You're taking time out of your Monday morning right now when we're recording this, and you look calm. You're not running around with your hair on fire. Your people seem to have it taken care of.
Yeah, I can go away for a week or 2 at a time, and I work my ass off, but I can go away for a week or 2 at a time. I don't have to worry about anything. People talk about, oh, you're so busy. No, I'm not busy, because I'm growing the business, managing risk, and creating dynamic leaders. I'm not dotting every I and crossing every T. So I have time to do things like this that I enjoy. I do have freedom, but I choose to use my freedom to work a lot too.
That's awesome, man. That's a huge point that I think a lot of people miss, is that if you really love what you do and you have your focus determined, so the couple key things that you're responsible for in the business, then you could work 80 or 100 hours a week and it doesn't really feel like work. And I think as long as, which I know you do a great job of balancing, your work life and your personal life, and still giving back to your family and your community. But it doesn't really seem like work. You choose to work. You don't have to work.
Yeah. I want to share something else with you too about finding success, right? And when you're young, it's so easy. And people are like, did you ever think you would get to where you are today? And I've always said yes, every single time. And they look at me like I'm crazy. And they ask me how I did it. And this is going to sound a little bit crazy to you, but I always said I was just too dumb to know better. And Mark Twain said, give a man confidence and ignorance, and he's sure to succeed. And I just wrote something about that and said that I am that man. You don't know what you don't know, and just taking massive action every day. And my whole point to that was finding people that you can rely on and lean on. You and I met through CEO Warrior with Mike Aguilera. And I've been through a ton of things, from Smart CEO to Vistage to always up in my game. And you got to find people that know what you don't know and are willing to share that experiences and help you along the way. That's what I've done with Mike, with CEO Warrior, and other things like that. And that's where we're at. So I thought that was important. I didn't want to get away from that.
And that's exactly what you're doing today by, giving us some of this time for this interview, is you're giving back to those other people that, might not know some of the things that you've already experienced. So, let's learn from, what you've learned through all of your experiences, your big ups and your big downs. Cool. So we kind of talked about, your team, and it seems like it keeps coming back to, team is one of the really big things that you've done to allow your company to grow so quickly. If you could go back however many years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, whatever that is there anything that you would have either done differently or that you would tell yourself, that long ago that would have cut your learning curve significantly?
Right. So us personally, it never does us any good to dwell on the past, and you only live in the past, or your future only dictates your past if you live there. I think I said that how I wanted. But if we can help somebody else, right? I definitely would have educated myself, not academically, but I would have went and found the right people to mentor and coach me along the way. Because once you start to get those tools and you take massive action, that's a real game changer right there, is getting the right tools in place and taking action. And I would have worked on learning to become a better leader along the way. That would have been the biggest thing, just learn to be a better leader.
That's great, man. So, I mean, what I'm hearing is find great mentors, surround yourself with people that are like-minded, going in the same direction, or have done what you want. And then, be a great leader yourself. Invest in yourself.
I coached baseball for 20 years. It's funny how many things I use on both sides of the table, whether it's business or when I was coaching sports. It's the same thing.
Awesome, man. Cool. Great advice. So I'll kind of end on this. Is there anything that you do really well, or maybe it's even just something that you're passionate about, that's fun for you, that you do great in your business, aside from taking really great care of your people, that you could share with somebody out there that's, maybe they're just starting out, or maybe they're 10 or 15 years in business and they just haven't figured, something out? Or is there anything that you just do really well that you'd like to share? So
don't let me get out of here without talking about culture to you, but I will say that business, the three most important parts of business is location. The three most important parts of real estate is location, 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 right? The three most important parts of business are relationships, relationships, relationships. And that's where I work really hard to build relationships inside my business and outside of my business. And I build those relationships through networking, through communicating with other customers, through, when I say networking, chambers of commerce and those types of things. And just holding on to people that are valuable to me. And so building relationships is probably the thing that I would say that is my number one tool. And then mentoring and leading my people. And even the social media stuff, I know you've seen me do a ton of that. I'm on there every single day. If you look at what I try to do in those things, Stephen, is I try to deliver valuable content that people find valuable and can use, whether it's a tip of how to take care of their home, or just something about the great state of Maryland is a wonderful place to live in. Even building relationships through those types of things are important to me.
Awesome, man. Yeah, you do a fantastic job at all of those things you mentioned. And if anybody listening is trying to figure out how to use, kind of more specifically Facebook, I think, Talbot, go look at what Talbot's doing. We'll put a link to it in the notes here to your Facebook page. But I love a couple things about what you do, Talbot. One, you said you're constantly just trying to put out valuable content. You're not worried about the what's in it for me and how am I going to get business from this and that kind of thing. You're just putting out very helpful information. You're doing it consistently, and you're not worried about the production quality of your content. You're not getting caught up on, I got to have a really good camera and I got to have a microphone and I got to have this. You're just doing this with your iPhone, walking through the office or through somebody's.
Yeah. So I do have a green screen in my office that I have on. But I enjoy doing the live videos much better for that reason. And it's funny for me personally, when I shoot a live video, it's one take, I'm done, not worried about it. When I get in front of that stupid green screen, I'm like, it's never right, right? So I go with better done than perfect on my social media, and try to deliver value content that's still professional, but you're never going to get it the way you want it.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, hey, as we tie up, share a couple points on culture. I know that that's something you wanted to mention.
So core purpose, to make a contribution to the well-being of others, living your core values, and culture is, it's not just about a happy place to work. I've done surveys, sent them out to all the employees in the company. It was about 70 employees at that time. Everything came back like great. And I was walking around a little bit with a big head, like, oh, all my employees love me. It's a great place to work. And I was sitting in a group with a bunch of other business people, and I was listening to their systems and processes and the results and stuff like that. And it hit me over the head that culture is way more than having a great place to work or the employees loving you. Culture is, you definitely want to have a happy environment, but it's about, are your systems and processes being followed on a regular basis? Are your results where you want them to be? So it's about systems, processes, successful results, and having a great place to work. And for us, one of the things that I'm actually working on right now is I'm not adding it to my core values, but I'm adding that we want to have a culture of success. So everybody's kind of on the same page, because we're trying to make a big ass cake, and I only want a little piece of it. And the more success we have, the more opportunities we can create for other people.
Awesome, man. I love it. And I happen to personally know where you have that same information written.
I'm not going to let you off of here without.
Yeah, man. I would love for you to share it. So now that you brought it out, tell us, just a quick blurb about the book, and then how can people connect with you? How can they find you if they have questions or if they want to talk? So
if anybody wants to connect with me, they can just go to Talbot, Watkins, Watkins @gmail.com. And I'll answer any other questions. I also do some speaking things if anybody wanted me to speak. I'm actually speaking this Friday as a keynote speaker, delivering a motivational speech. And just reach out to me that way. They can also call my office, 410-365-6000. And I'll pick up the phone. Remember, I got time. So.
Yeah. And then the book, how can we find the book?
It's on Amazon. There's a whole bunch of places on Amazon that you can buy it from, but Amazon.com is the best place to find the book. Kick-Ass Hippopotamus is the first version. Hopefully we have a Kick-Ass Hippopotamus Rex in the future. And I'm in the process of writing 2 more books. I talked earlier about delivering valuable content. One of the things we do is water purification and indoor air quality. So I have a book coming out in December called What You Breathe, What You Drink, What You Eat Makes You Sick, and I Can Help. And then I got another book coming out called It's Not Okay, and that's overcoming childhood trauma. It's a pretty, it's a hard book to write, but pretty neat.
I bet, man. I bet. Well, Talbot, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy yet very specifically busy day and busy Monday morning today to share some of the knowledge and the experience that you have and that you've gained through all your years in business. For those of you who are listening, a couple key takeaways that I got is, pay attention to your key employees, pay attention to all of your employees. What's the culture that you're creating? Specifically about culture, like Talbot just mentioned, is that it's not just about, do people love working there? It's also about the numbers. It's about the processes. It's about, how are people working within the systems that you've created? So it's not all just about, do people love working there and everybody's happy. You got to make sure that you're also being a profitable company, because that's the only way you can give back to your employees if they have a job. And then from a social media standpoint, better done than perfect. I love it. If you want to find out, or if you want to see somebody that's really doing a great job on Facebook, and using Facebook Live and some other video stuff, check out Talbot, check out Winstar. We'll put some links to it below. But Talbot, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks. I just let everybody know who I am before we hang up. You've heard me say before this. I'm Talbot Watkins. I'm a child of God. I'm Patty's husband, and I love her dearly. I'm Matthew and Nick's dad. They're the apple of my eye, and I'm your friend. Peace
Awesome,
out.
Man.
On the flip. Love you guys.
I love you, Talbot, man. You're a badass. So thank you again for sharing time with us today. Everybody, thank you so much for watching.